Wagakure is unable to be killed by his executioners, no matter how many ways they try. The woman keeping his record seems confused as to why a hollow man with no reason to live would resist capture and execution so strongly. Eventually, she takes it upon herself to grant his death wish, and executioner Yamada Simon Sagiri prepares to decapitate the young shinobi. After witnessing him intently dodge her attacks, she says she believes his wife is his reason for living, despite him previously stating the opposite on the record. Gabimaru thinks back on his memories with her, about how the reason he was captured is because his father-in-law, the chief of Iwagakure, would not allow him to leave the village with his daughter in search of a peaceful life. Sagiri then gives him a chance to live that life, when she unveils an official pardon from the shogun for all his crimes. To receive it, he must head to Shinsenkyo, or Paradise, and retrieve the immortality-granting elixir of life, a mission nobody has ever returned from. In One Piece. Tempted at this one chance to live a peaceful life with his wife, Gabimaru accepts, and after exhibiting his ninjutsu to take out the guards, he and Sagiri head to Edo. When there, dozens of blindfolded death row criminals are gathered in front of the shogunate to hear their instructions. After hearing their basic objective, they feast their eyes on the only survivor from the island's recent expedition team. Then, after being told to reduce their numbers before they set out, a bloodbath ensues. Gabimaru isn't too keen on killing needlessly, but after his attempts at talking it through fail, the hollow within him emerges, and he rips apart criminals like scrap paper. The beach stained with blood, 10 criminals remain standing for the expedition, and each are assigned an assignment executioner to ensure they are kept in line. Speaking of kept in line, apparently Iwagakure's chief acquired some elixir long ago that made him immortal. As soon as they arrive on the island, Gabimaru is attacked by one of the other criminals, and after tying his hands together, he begins what some may call a fight, others a slaughter. Sagiri wants him to follow the rules and keep his hands tied. That's retarded. Almost no time has passed since the boats landed ashore, and already many have died, with Gabimaru eager to add Sagiri to that list. Whilst fighting her, he is torn between the ruthless teachings of his chief and those of his gentle wife, and ultimately, his wife's influence wins out when he refuses to kill his executioner. Sagiri observes his internal struggle, and is willing to overlook his crimes and ease up on the rules, if he promises to stay true to his emotions, to reclaim his life. Across the island, insects and strange creatures begin to surround the various intruders. Gabimaru is forced to use his ninjutsu to fight them, and gives in to his emotions to come to Sagiri's rescue. Yamada Simon Genji finishes off the final creature, and he arrives at the spear Senta, along with his criminal, the Kunoichi Yuzuriha. Genji's criminal was killed by Yuzuriha, so we accompanied her, for protection. The seductive Yuzuriha offers Gabimaru her information in return for his strength, in order to team up, and eventually, the hollow agrees. Meanwhile, Sagiri faints from some poison, whilst mulling over how useless she's been. When she wakes up, the group have a meal, whilst going over everything they know of the island. Many of the statues and creatures represent Buddhist and Taoist iconography, whilst the flora resemble species found on the mainland, and the monsters lack reproductive organs. So where's the elixir? I don't know. Genji later approaches Sagiri, and suggests she take a boat back to the mainland, citing her limitations as a woman, for the reason she is unable to fulfill her duties. Meanwhile, Yamada Simon Tenzo feels his criminal Nudagai deserves to live, so he attempts to row back to the shogunate's ship, only to find it destroyed. The duo are then attacked by sea creatures, and Nudagai is willing to accept death to atone for her innocent role in the massacre of her village. But Tenzo manages to convince Nudagai to fight, and the two make it back ashore in one piece, though the samurai gets flustered when he finds out this little boy is actually a girl. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, bow, bow. Keep that in, baby. That night, Gabimaru surprises Sagiri with his concern for her health, before he convinces her that she's strong, and he's never wrong about that. The next day, with newfound resolve, Sagiri tells Genji that she's going to live life her way, not how others decide she should live, a sentiment he does not share. But before he pisses off feminists even more, he is attacked by the criminal Rokurota. His injury is fatal, and before Sagiri can become the giant's lunch, Gabimaru steps in, though he soon finds the giant of Bizen eats damage as much as he does humans. Genji, on the verge of death, finally accepts Sagiri for who she is and gives his sword, which she in turn uses to help Gabimaru in the fight. Sagiri capitalizes on the burning forest courtesy of Gabimaru by slicing the kneeling giant's head clean off, for the first time, without any fear or doubt in her blade. Gabimaru and Sagiri soon catch up to Senta and Yuzuriha, who distance themselves from the burning forest and find them staring at what seems like an abandoned village. Elsewhere on the island, former bandit leader Chobe and his brother, Yamada Simon Toma, are faced with strange monsters, but they handle themselves well.
Toma became an assignment within a month to rescue his brother from execution.
Chobe then fills up on the monster's blood, and once he's had his fill, the brothers stumble into a very intimate meeting between two lesbians. One of them transforms into a male before their very eyes, and though Chobe lands a lethal blow, it regenerates in mere moments, then returns the favor, and tosses the incapacitated brothers in a pit to become tan. You'll learn what that is later. Our main group find they are being watched by a little girl, and Gabimaru chases after her, whilst Yuzuriha deals with the tree protecting the girl. The girl protects herself with a mysterious power unbecoming of a little girl, and Gabimaru retaliates. Though she does respond like a little girl when she finds herself tied up. He lets her down, and Sagiri comforts her. Then the tree requests that they return the child to him, in return for information on the elixir. He takes them back to his village where, after a bath and some refreshments, he gives an exposition on the island. He reveals that this place truly is Shinsenkyo, where the gods live, and that the elixir of life, or Tan as they call it, is present in the island's center called Horai. Though he has never seen it, the Tensen, eternally beautiful and powerful beings, who kill all trespassers on the island, are proof of the elixir's existence.
The tree's name is Hoko, and the girl's name is May, and they've been raised on the island for centuries.
Tenza and Nurugai stumble upon one of these Tensen, and after witnessing its immortal body, they run. Tenza's master Shion runs into them and helps them temporarily escape. Then he's convinced by a student not to execute Nurugai. The trio are found by the Tensen again, and Shion has his throat sliced, leaving Tenza on his own in the fight. He stands up to the Tensen alone, thereby repaying his master for elevating him from the slums and training him into a respectable samurai. Aware they stand no chance, Shion uses the opportunity a student affords him to grab Nurugai and escape, leaving the young samurai to the fate he's accepted. Back at the village, whilst everyone sleeps, Gabimaru decides to head into Horai to find the elixir alone. Though unbeknownst to him, someone is watching his back. I think she likes him because he complimented her scar. The shinobi reaches Horai, but before he enters, the same Tensen that killed Tenza arrives, though it seems tired of fighting. Yet once Gabimaru mentions the elixir, it shifts into attack mode, and neither snapping its neck nor setting it on fire seems to faze it. He takes many lethal blows, but manages to overcome its regeneration with its sheer volume of attacks. But just as he thinks it's over, the Tensen's body sprouts into a ginormous flower, and prepares to kill Gabimaru after withstanding his last gasp attacks. But before it can do so, Mei stands in its way, and uses her power to escape with him.
Do you two know each other, or...?
When the group back at the village awaken, they head out in search of their missing comrades. Hoko tells them that there may have originally been one hermit on the island, who became a god and split into 7 parts, which now rule the island as the Tensen. Hoko used to look human, but everyone on the island eventually become trees and take root, praying cross-legged in front of the Horai, where their souls are invited after death. Gabimaru awakens next to Mei, and he is immediately confronted by the Blade Dragon, Tamiya Gantetsusai, along with his Asaimon Fuchi. The 2 death row criminals size each other up, but having just pushed himself past his limit, Gabimaru suggests they work together instead. He tells them of the Tensen he faced, and when Mei wakes up, Gabimaru is shocked to find she's grown up. He wastes no time in asking her the secret of the Tensen's power, and she does her best to explain Tao to them, though it's clear that the island could use a better education system. Across the island, the survivors simultaneously face attacks from Soshin, This allows Nurugai a chance to learn from her new master Shion, who has sworn to avenge Tenzo's death. Meanwhile, Shobe manages to make it out of the deathbed with his brother on his back, and they are immediately confronted by a doshi, who follow orders from the Tensen.
Doshi serve the Tensen directly, whereas the Soshi lack intellect.
Shobe attacks the doshi, and though his Tao is beginning to develop, he is still no match for it. But the young bandit leader seems capable of coming back from anything, and he learns from the doshi as he fights. Then, with his Tao greatly increasing, he kills it. Though it seems he's slowly beginning to transform into something else, which his brother takes note of. Whilst Gabimaru and Gantetsusai handle the Soshin, Mei hammers home the point that Tao must be weak and strong, not just strong. Don't ask me, bro. Mei is then swept up by one of the doshi, who explains how she's been missing for centuries ever since she was banished from the palace, but she doesn't seem keen on returning with them. Gabimaru stands between her and the people who want to use her for sex.
Whoa, where'd you get that from?
Oh, sorry, I skipped ahead. Let me explain. The doshi train in Tao, and there are 5 steps to mastering it. The final step is called Bochujutsu, which requires a partner to perform, so that yin and yang ki can circulate between them and heighten their Tao. The Tensen are the only ones who possess both yin and yang ki within themselves. But the doshi, who possess only yang ki, must have a female partner to perform Bochujutsu. That's where Mei comes in. She's got some high-quality yin ki, and they need her to fuck. After being scarred by the leader Yen for only having yin ki despite being of the same origin as the Tensen, she escaped from the Horai centuries ago. This disgusts the humans, and they attack the perverted doshi. Then with Mei's help, Gabimaru manages to unlock the secret of Tao, and he makes short work of them.
Ah, strong, weak. Now I get it.
You do?
No. With the fight over, Gabimaru passes out, his body finally catching up with how hard he's been pushing himself. Meanwhile, Sagiri's group are the first to reach the Horai, where they are met with a friendly greeting from another Tensen. Yuzuriha immediately senses the danger they're in, but fails to escape. The Tensen, Mudan, explains that the island is simply a place for them to conduct experiments on life, meaning everything about souls entering the Horai is complete bullshit. Yuzuriha escapes Mudan's wrath, and it notices her aptitude for Tao, which it later sees in Sagiri as well, when it's rendered unable to regenerate from her attack. The combination of Yuzuriha's ninjutsu and Senta's courage puts Sagiri in a position to slice its tanden, the source of the body's Tao, thereby defeating it. Not long after, however, the Tensen's flower form sprouts, and Senta takes a hit for Yuzuriha and sprouts little flowers of his own. Then, just when the ladies are about to suffer the same fate, Shion makes a badass entrance to save them. Shion has developed his Tao greatly on his way to Horai, and manages to hold his own against the Tensen's Kishikai transformation. Meanwhile, after Yuzuriha helps keep Senta alive, she and Sagiri are energized by Nurugai's unique ability. Sagiri and Nurugai then help Shion find an opening to slice its tanden, which location he knows thanks to Senta's vast well of knowledge. So, he flashes the flower's ovule, and the Tensen accepts its end with gratification. 1,000 years being a long time to wait for a good death. Not long after, Senta also accepts his death, with the woman he admires holding him as he passes. The group then takes stock and rest in a nearby temple, reflecting on Mudan's words about the elixir not existing. Yuzuriha compounds this by questioning whether Gabimaru's chief's display of immortality was real or an illusion. Furthermore, she has doubts that his wife even exists, suggesting she is also an illusion, designed to keep him in line.
That's crazy.
Tell him, Gabimaru. Elsewhere, Gabimaru awakens, but struggles to remember where he is, who he's with, or what his purpose is. His Tao seems incomplete, something Mei notices, as his overuse of it seems to have affected his mind. Finally, with 3 days having passed since the expedition began, a new Yamada Asaimon named Shugen is being sent to the island to monitor the expedition members. Hell's Paradise, Season 1 done. Season 2 has already been announced. Stay tuned for the next summary. And if y'all got any ideas for videos you want me to do, summary related or not, drop them down below, and maybe you'll see it on the channel someday. But with that being said, you know what to do. Like, subscribe if you made it this far, especially just click it. It's 2 seconds, and peace.